welcome to Go For Your Life. Thank you so much for tuning in and giving me your listening ears. Woohoo! This is a podcast for everyone, about everything, and it's to encourage, inspire, uplift you to go for your life. And it is presented and hosted by myself, Caro, and my sweet dog Sparky. Give it up for him. I hope you're ready. Enjoy. Alrighty, and we are back for another episode of Go For Your Life. And today is a very special episode because we have, in a way, two guests, but also kind of like a guest and then a co-host. But we already have a co-host, of course, because as you all know, Sparky is our co-host, who's also right here. You might hear him cry in the background a little bit. He's looking at me right now like, what is all this? But anyway, Miguel is here. And it's funny because it feels like our very first episode.
It's true.
So Miguel is here today, and we are waiting for Stewart. Stewart will join us in about half an hour. Stewart Gilchrist, and it's very special because we're making an episode specifically on addiction, and it's something that I've been thinking about wanting to do an episode on for a long time. And Stewart is doing a workshop series where he's talking about addictions, and he's also kind of talking about yoga therapy in a way for people with addictions, and it just made me think of doing this episode. So welcome, Miguel.
Thanks for having me.
In our here we are sitting together in our living room making this episode
at home
on the couch with a cup of tea. So just the reason why I ask you in this episode as well, and you know, co-host this with me, talking to Stewart in a minute, is very much your passion for being straight edge, and
yes.
Maybe tell people what that means, what that is.
So straight edge is a term from punk hardcore, and it's pretty much someone that abstains from substance use. Mm-hmm. It's pretty basic. No smoking, no drugs, no drinking. Mm-hmm. That's what straight edge is.
Yeah.
And then what you do with straight edge, that's what's interesting to me, because there's a lot of people that take it in different ways. Mm-hmm. Although we're all straight edge, or people that claim it, we're all straight edge, but then we have different ways of living it, or different ways of linking that to other things.
But what do you mean?
So I mean, like, for example, there's a lot of, for most people, straight edge is a personal choice. Mm-hmm. For me, it's not.
Okay.
Like veganism, when there's like victims, or when my impact can be negative towards others, it's not necessarily a personal choice.
Okay.
And in the drug world, I can also see a lot of violence, a lot of...
but it is your personal choice to abstain from it,
yeah,
right?
of course.
To not...
Well, that's the same as it's also my personal choice to be vegan.
Yeah.
But what I mean with personal choice, like some people really, it's really a personal choice. Like it is to wear a red sweater instead of a black sweater, you know, like it's just personal. And to me, it's a little bit more political and more social.
Okay.
That's what I mean with the difference between...
Okay. Because it's a little bit confusing when you say like, oh, it's, you know, because, you know, in a way it is very
everything
much
is a personal
sense.
choice.
Yeah.
But what I mean is that I connect straight edge with other struggles and other...
And why doing this? Like, why? Like, what did something happen to you in your life that you were really like, man, I can't stand alcohol or drugs, or like what?
No, it was always very...
But you've been doing this from a young age, right?
Yes. I tried alcohol. I actually didn't really like it.
Yeah, when you were really young.
Yes, really young. I mean, like 12, 13, 14.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was 15, I claimed straight edge, let's say. But when I got into straight edge, it felt really natural, because it felt like, yeah, this is who I am.
Yeah.
It feels natural. It feels real. It feels
but then because so for the record, you're about to turn 40 in a few weeks. But you've been doing this since you were 15,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
So when you were younger, were a lot of your friends giving you shit like, oh, you're such a loser, you're like, you don't drink, like?
Not really, because a lot of my friends at the time also turned straight edge.
Yeah, right. So you were a little bit in a bubble, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, okay.
So we all got really excited with punk and with...
But didn't you have like school parties or, you know...
Yes,
like
but I never felt bullied or I never...
You probably didn't even... Maybe it was happening, you didn't even notice.
Or I didn't really realize, yeah. But it didn't... I never had like a weird...
And later on in life, like have you been in situations where people were like...
Yeah, definitely. Also because it's so socially accepted to drink alcohol, especially, or to do, or smoking cigarettes, or
and do people use
some drugs.
Do people use the term like, oh yeah, I'm straight edge when they aren't coming from the punk scene?
Not really, no. And most people didn't know what straight edge meant.
No.
So when people outside punk and hardcore mention straight edge, they normally say drug free. So drug free is the more mainstream term for
it's like
edge.
the coin for like, okay, this is
so
how I
straight
live.
edge is living, or living straight edge is the same as living drug free.
And so when you think about drugs and alcohol, like what is... I mean, I guess it's an obvious question, but I mean, what is the problem? What is the main problem?
The main problem to me is increasing violence in society. And I don't want to contribute to that. I want to do the opposite. I want a more peaceful world. I don't want my actions to harm anyone else than myself if I decide to. And by this I mean like even when I eat like junk food, for example, I know that it's bad for me, but as long as it didn't harm anyone else, I'm okay with that. And that's the same with drugs, like but the fact that drug dealing and drug consumption is linked to violence and to even like other horrible things like human trafficking or guns or, you know, violence in general. And it's so bad to see like what alcohol can actually push people to do in a way. They might already be angry at the world. They might already be, let's say, crazy. But if you add alcohol to
in the
pot,
mix,
in the mix, it's just gonna be like a bomb. So I want to represent something that I believe in. So I want to be an example of someone, like a citizen that actually can socialize and can live among other people. But I'm trying to give my best as a human being, and I'm trying to harm no one else in the process. Because the consequence and the impact that all drugs have in the world, in communities, and is horrific.
And how do you see addiction then? Like, what do you have experience yourself?
Unfortunately, I have some family members that struggled with heavy addiction.
Of substance, then, maybe.
Yeah, substance use, of course, and heavy drugs. It's really bad,
Sparky.
and I witnessed that like firsthand, like, and yeah, of course, it's also more hurting because it's
your family.
Yeah, it's my family.
Yeah,
but still, I can see that it's horrible for our family. And it's also horrible for their communities. And it's just like sad to also sometimes you can't do much. When it's about heavy drugs, it really has to come from the person that.
But did these family members know that you live drug free?
Totally.
And do they find that even more strange because they have an addiction themselves?
I don't know.
Or
some of them, they're proud of me. They like it.
But I think for you it is different though, right? Because, you know, like a lot of people that chose to live a drug-free life have had addictions or have had... you've never... you were 15, you were like, okay, I'm going to live my life drug-free, but not coming from actually having an addiction yourself.
Which
you know?
a lot of a lot of people that I know that are straight edge came from exactly the situation that you're actually
describing.
describing.
Because like what do you think the biggest problem, like why do people get addicted? Like what is the biggest problem?
Everyone has their own story and baggage, but in general I think society.
Yes, society is causing
brings
addiction.
You down,
right? And what is it of society that brings people down then?
Everything. Capitalism, the fact that we're all under so much pressure to live under these rules and laws and these standards of beauty, these standards of like what's healthy, what's not healthy. Social media now, like so much pressure that I think it's really easy to fall for any kind of drug consumption.
Yeah.
It also depends on the group of people that you hang out with. Then also drugs change there.
Yeah.
Because it depends if you're into even like music stars and stuff like that. It really depends what kind of drugs are in your circle.
Yeah.
But I think it's really easy to fall.
And is there a specific drug?
Also boredom, like people are bored.
Yeah, that can be a factor. But
and frustration, like people struggle with their jobs or their relationships or their and it's just like a escape mode.
And what is the biggest drug in your opinion? What is the most, like the biggest, but also the most problematic drug?
I think is heroin. And that's because I dealt directly with people from my family that struggle with that.
Yeah. And you kind of have a personal relationship with that.
Yes, you can say so.
Yeah, because it was so close to you as well.
Yeah.
And that person is still alive?
Yes.
And is now no longer...
That I know of, yes, luckily.
Yeah. Because I think, I also feel that in this society, because you're saying something as heavy as heroin, but I also think that a drug like alcohol is not even seen as a drug. It's like, but alcohol is alcohol. It's like, but for me personally, like alcohol is the biggest drug.
I understand what you mean.
And underestimated as such.
In a way, I agree with that because it's socially accepted. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
And companies are so strong, like marketing it, because like also what makes people feel a little bit weird about straight edge or about living drug free is the fact that you're committed to that. You don't open an exception on Christmas or New Year's Eve to
just
drink
have
champagne
or
wine, or you're committed to. I actually really love the sentence resistance through abstinence. I feel that. And I feel that I represent that. So I'm resisting this system through abstinence. And that was my choice when I was 15 years old. And I made that choice.
But do you remember making the choice? Like, because it is a kind of a big, huge thing to do when you're 15, right?
Yeah,
like, why?
Yes, definitely. Well, once again, because I was listening to punk music, and through punk music, you get a lot of, lyrics are really important.
Yeah.
And then while I was reading the lyrics, I came across like anti-fascist lyrics and really militant like vegan straight edge lyrics and drug-free lyrics and animal rights and all that. It all felt really natural because I was
so also from the one thing came the other. Like
and
you were getting into this music and then you understood the lyrics. And how did your direct family, so like your parents and stuff, how did they react?
It was a little bit weird to them because I think they felt it was too extreme.
Yeah.
To just like, I'm glad you don't drink because that's every parent's dream in a way.
Yeah.
To know that the kids don't drink, their kids don't drink or do drugs in this case as well. But I think it was too extreme, the fact that I decided to not drinking beer or wine or any kind of alcohol ever. Forever.
Yeah,